Welcome to the Coached Success Podcast. This podcast is aimed at connecting you with the ways top performers think about challenges so that you can adapt your thinking accordingly and live your version of ultra extraordinary. So today on the call we have Blake. Blake the champ. Blake, how are you doing?
What's up? I'm very well, thanks, and you, Carl?
I'm excellent. Thanks for being on the call today. I really appreciate your time. Blake, do you want to tell us who is Blake?
Well, okay, let me start with who is Blake Williams, right? Because my alias is Blake the Champ, but let me start with the core. Let me start with how everything began. I started dancing when I was 4 years old. I used to watch Michael Jackson videos in the lounge at home, and then I'd go to my room, put on my church clothes, and practice all of his moves. And that's how it started for me. Just a young boy with a talent, with a gift, very passionate about dancing. And I remember one day we were sitting at the family function around those big white round tables. And Billie Jean came on, one of Michael Jackson's top songs at the time. My mother said to me, Blake, why don't you go show the family what you got? And at the time I was shy. I kept my head down. I said, nope, that's definitely not going to happen. And then she took out the 10 Rand note, right? South African currency. She slid it under the table onto my knee. And all I could think about was the Cokes and the Kit Kats I can buy at the tuck shop at school. So I took the money that day, and for the first time, I danced in front of other people. And just to see people enjoy me, enjoying myself, that's what sparked the dream for me. That's when I knew I want to dance for the rest of my life. Not only because it makes me happy, but it had the power to make other people happy as well. And as my career went on, I slowly became a better dancer. I entered all the Michael Jackson competitions at primary school. Then we got to high school and I learned about hip-hop dancing. And I really took it serious. I started competing for South Africa. And through my journey, I built the name Blake the Champ. And how I came about this name is through South African Union of Dance. We have to compete every year. And I slowly became the South African champion for 4 years. They started calling me champ at the competitions. So the name kind of stuck, and then I went to World Champs in 2010 for the first time to represent SA, and I won the World Championships. And the organizer of the competition said to me, Blake, you know, nobody has ever won this competition 2 years in a row. I'll put a challenge to you. Next year, we're hosting in Austria. If you can come back to Austria next year and win the World Championships for the second time, you'll be the first person to do it. And because of your age, you'll be the youngest person to do it. So I put myself to the test, and for a full year after that, I trained. I got sponsored to go to Austria, and then I won the World Championships for the second time. So I think that kind of sealed the deal when it came to the name Blake the Champ. People started calling me champ on a regular basis. I started coaching younger kids. They all called me champ. And then I decided to change my name, my alias, to Blake the Champ, because the word champion means so much to me. It's not just about winning the titles, but it was about my journey to get to that opportunity and what I did in that moment to accomplish those titles.
I love that. Quite a couple of real value that you share there. First of all, the fact that you said that champion has so much more meaning than just getting a title. It's also the hard work that you put in, the journey, the progress you see going from, you know what, I'm making the decision to do this and actually achieving it. So that's awesome. And then also you said you started dancing at the age of 4. That's quite young. Tell me a bit about your journey. How did you start dancing? Like, was there anybody in your family introduced you to dancing?
There's nobody in my family that really dances professionally. My family loves music. My father always used to play good music. I remember every weekend, every Saturday morning, every Sunday morning, when the family's together, he'd have his records out. He had an old LP player. And I was very fascinated at a young age, right? I always used to watch the Michael Jackson videos. And then I used to look at the music that he had that was before Michael Jackson's time. And I enjoyed the soulfulness behind the music, the fact that it would get the family's energy up in the morning and just have us ready for the day, have us dancing around the house, cooking food, just getting ready for the day, you know, that bonding time. And I think that is a big foundation of my dancing, is that I love music. I love what music can do for people. I love how music gets us through different experiences, whether you're sad, whether you're excited, whether you're lonely. And just growing up, I started attaching myself to people that were following their own journey, not only dancers. I have a good friend, Amin Aaron. He's a top music producer from South Africa. He's worked with many artists, and he always stuck by my side. He was part of my cousin's crew. They were a breakdancing crew, and they taught me how to do hip-hop dancing. So that's when I translated from the Michael Jackson scene over to breakdancing for the first time. And Armin taught me to pop and lock, the wave and the heartbeat and all of those moves. And when I started learning about those dance moves, it opened my mind to a different world, to understand dance as movement, opposed to just knowing it as the Michael Jackson moves that I used to do and entertain people with. So when I started learning new moves, it made me more hungry to learn more. I started learning contemporary. I started joining different dance studios, different dance organizations. And then I started competing for South Africa, competing in the league, qualifying. It became a sport for me. Then I started representing the country. And then I didn't stop. From my first international competition, I went overseas every single year up until 2018. And we won the world champs again as a team in 2018. So that was the first one for me, another new title there. And then I decided to take a break in 2019 and this year, because with the organization that I work for, Second Chance, I've been given the opportunity to share my story, becoming the world champion and dancing all across the world and following my dreams, hoping to inspire the youth and the next generation.
Awesome, man. And I like that it's not only your passion, but it's more than that. It's your purpose. So you're at the next level in your life where you're actually teaching people and also showing people how they can get more joy out of dancing, out of movement. So that's awesome. Music definitely does have energy, and being a part of that, being able to dance and move a crowd definitely has to have like real powerful benefits for you as well. Tell me a bit about, obviously you started dancing at a young age. Tell me a bit about your confidence as a kid, because I know kids are usually very confident, but then it's easy for our spirit to be broken by our friends and peers. Tell me a bit about your journey and with your friends and you dancing.
Okay, so I think growing up, as I said, initially I was very shy, but because of the dancing and because I had performed in front of crowds so many times, it really did boost my confidence and help me build my self-esteem. I believed in myself very much. I knew the moves that I had. I knew how to entertain a crowd, and I enjoyed it very much. I still enjoy it to this day. But when it came to other things, I consider myself a perfectionist. So let's use schoolwork, for example. If I was trying something new for the first time, I was very hard on myself because I was used to the pattern of getting things right all the time. And when you become comfortable with that pattern, when you start making mistakes, you take that not 20 times harder than somebody that's maybe more familiar with making mistakes. So that was a big struggle for me. From primary school to high school, I was always very competitive. And being competitive can be a good thing, and it can also be a bad thing at times, because you have to have a healthy balance. You need to know when to be competitive. Sometimes you can push people away. Sometimes you can push yourself down by being too competitive. And that was really my first life lesson, was translating from Blake being the champion, becoming this great competitor, becoming the golden horse that people could rely on, the studios. They would literally like not bet money on me, but they would bet on me to say that they guarantee that I'm going to be the winner, I'm going to come out tops. And to have so many people believing in you, it pushes you to become more competitive, because now you can't let them down, you can't let yourself down, you can't lose your position. So I was caught up in a hamster wheel, and I was on this chase to remain competitive and stay the best. And it changed my personality. It molded me to become somebody that I wasn't necessarily happy with when I left the competition or when I left the studio. But I needed that ego, I needed that personality to keep the competitiveness driven, to keep myself driven, to keep myself motivated and to stay on top. And then when I got a bit older, after I won world champs twice, I felt that it's not necessary for me to keep this up. Life is all about different stages, about different phases. And I think that I've done my part in terms of competition and competing as a male adult solo artist. And now I want to compete with a team. Now I want to travel and see what that's like, look at new opportunities. Going into a team sport and me being used to working alone and winning by myself, I had to learn to adapt with others. I had to respect other people's times. I had to respect their positions in the team, I had to respect the formations, the different patterns that we set. So that taught me a lot as well. And I kept growing throughout my dance. I kept growing as a person. And I allowed my opportunities through dance to teach me more about myself and grow in life.
Mm-hmm. And what you said there about you were perfectionist based on the fact that you always won, and you try to obviously maintain that in the different areas of your life. And you quickly discovered that it's not possible to succeed at every single thing. And
100%.
that is a key lesson that so many people who are high achievers need to understand, that it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be average in one area of your life that's not important for this particular level, but it doesn't mean you can't work hard at the area that's really important. And you said the competitiveness is important when you are obviously competing, and that you need to learn how to balance and turn that off. Tell me a bit about practices that you follow that help you to turn on the ego state, the high competitiveness, and any practices that you have that turns it off, that puts you in a mode of being humble, compassionate.
I think it's a very difficult thing to sometimes switch on and switch off. If you're in a certain mood, if you're feeling a certain way, to lift yourself up and get yourself in good spirits is not that easy. And then also to be on a high, to be excited, and then all of a sudden have to tone down, it's not that easy because that's how you feel in the moment. And most often we act on how we feel. So for me, I figured out along the way that preparation helps me a lot. Thinking about what's about to happen, trying to structure myself and plan towards an opportunity that I would like to accomplish or I'd like to achieve. Just preparing myself mentally, physically, emotionally, everything before I step into that opportunity. I try to picture it clearly in my mind because then at least that's not the first time I see it when it happens to me. Sometimes when something happens to us in suspense, in the spur of the moment, because we experience a certain emotion, we react based on that emotion. Whereas my aim is to be more responsive. If I can picture the scenario in my mind before it happens, it's not the first time I see it. Therefore, when I get there, my emotions may be a bit better balanced. And that will allow me to respond in a way that I hope to see the end result.
If you are enjoying this episode and would like some practical tips that you can use daily to thrive, then head over to coachedsuccess.com/thrive and download our 5 daily tips to thrive. That is coachedsuccess.com/thrive. Now let's get back to the episode. You spoke there about visualization. Did you ever experience any incidences where you suffered from performance anxiety, and how did you manage that?
Sure, I'll tell you, more often than people think, when you hear Blake the Champ, when you see the World Championship trophies, you think that's just the thing that he does and that's what he's good at. Every single time before I step on a stage, I still get nervous. I think that nerves is healthy for us because it's the fuel that you need to get yourself through the experience. Without nerves, I don't have energy. Without energy, I can't give you my best performance. And many a times, especially at the World Champs, let me tell you the story. 2010, first time I'm competing overseas solo. In my mind, I'm seeing all these dancers from 35 countries across the world. How it works is the top 5 dancers in the country have to qualify throughout the year. They select the top 5 dancers from 35 countries and then you meet at the World Championships. So I get to see all these dancers from England, from America, from China, all over the world. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, how did I get here? Firstly, how is it possible that I'm here? Because I'd never been overseas before. I don't come from circumstances where my parents can say to me, go to any country you want, we'll support you no matter what. They had to work blood, sweat and tears to raise funds for me to even get me there. So being there, number one, I was grateful, but at the same time, I was scared. I was shocked. I didn't know what to expect. And then looking at the other dancers, you know, they're warming up, they're stretching, they're practicing their moves. I'm thinking, flip, how am I going to beat these guys? Eventually, we get to the marshalling area. This is the area next to the dance floor where they check all your numbers and they give you a chance to warm up and stretch. So we're busy warming up and stretching, and there's a guy standing in front of me. So being me, being Blake, I think to myself, I'm going to introduce myself to this guy. Let's spark a conversation, you know, try and calm my nerves before I go out there, get familiar with the dancers. Extend my hand to him. I say, what's up, man? My name's Blake. He turns around. He says to me, yo, man, my name's JP. I'm from Chicago. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's cool. And then I say to him, I'm from Cape Town in South Africa. He says, yeah, man, the motherland, the motherland. And then the two of us start chatting about our dance styles, about what companies we dance for. And I tell him in excitement, I just finished up a dance production now with our studio and we raised funds to get here. I'm excited. This is like the best thing that's ever happened for me. He turns around, he says to me, that's cool, man. I just finished up a music video with Chris Brown. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what is going on here? That's when it really hit me. All I see of Chris Brown is when I'm on YouTube and watching his videos to get inspiration. This guy just stepped off set with Chris Brown now and he flew to the World Champs from the music video. So I'm thinking, there's no way I can beat this guy. Then something in my mind changed and I thought, there's nothing that you can do to change this moment. You already here. 90% of success is just showing up. The other 10% is what you do when you get there. So this is my 10%. What I do when I'm here right now will determine the results that I get from this competition. So all I can really do is give it my best. I have my moves. I can't get any new moves now before I step step on that stage. Let me use what I got and give it my best. And that's the first time I really closed my eyes and I pictured all the moves that I wanted to do on the floor. Now, how World Champs works is, Carl, they play a 1-minute song for you, and it's actually a remix of about 3 or 4 different songs. So you don't know what you're going to get. It's pure freestyle, on the spot improvisation. We go out there, top 7 male dancers in the world, and we do our thing. Everybody, every guy that I competed against left their heart on the dance floor. We gave it our best. And then we're standing in the line and they're giving us our marks and they're working their way down the line now. They're giving everybody scores. Eventually they get to my name and I get the top score at the entire competition. I couldn't believe it. I stood there in awe. The South African team ran to me. They threw the flag over me. I sang the national anthem for the country. I couldn't believe it. I was starstruck. I was shook. And just to have that opportunity, having gotten through that moment where a couple of minutes ago, I was ready to tap out. I was telling myself, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to make it. And all I did was tell myself, just do your best. That's all. Even if your best isn't good enough, just do your best. Show them what your best is, because no matter what, that is a reflection of who you are. And that's what you can leave them with. If it's not good enough, then you know what you need to work on to get better. But if you don't give your best, if you talk yourself out of this one, then you're going to throw the whole opportunity away. So for me to have gotten through that moment and it ended on such a high, getting the top scores, it made me realize that sometimes we have to give ourselves a break. Our first go-to thought is to doubt ourselves, is to think negatively. Sometimes we have to push ourselves to think more positively and believe in the moments that we think is impossible.
That's really powerful. I like the fact that you basically controlled your thoughts in that moment, because sometimes our monkey mind will run wild. And in that competition, this guy started getting intimidated by his success. And you probably thought like, listen, I might be inferior. My skills might be inferior to what he has. And it's so easy in that moment to amp up and be like, okay, you know what? I'm not good enough, and give up. But you were able to calm yourself down and say that this doesn't matter. I'm just going to give everything that I can and do my best, and that's all that I can do. And now you're able to draw from those experiences every single time you step on a stage, and you maybe feel intimidated. Let's say you're dancing against a Chris Brown. You're able to say, you know what? I've dealt with situations like this before in my past, and you can bring it to this moment, and you can calm yourself, and you can control your mind in that moment. Because controlling our mind in high competitive sports are really important, because everybody's good. Everybody's good who you're competing against.
Yeah. Everybody wants to win. Everyone's there for the same reason.
Let's speak about the next level. So you see right now, obviously you're working with Second Chance. Tell us a bit about your work that you're doing with Second Chance.
So Second Chance is an amazing organization. I think that Second Chance helped me find my purpose and my calling. Initially, I thought it was just dance. I thought that, I would have a full career in only competing and performing. But then I realized along the way that it's much bigger than that. Growing up, I was always very well spoken. Both my parents are school teachers. My father was actually a principal for 22 years. And they really did the best to educate us and just prepare us for life. So I used that to my advantage when I met Jared Smith, who is the founder of Second Chance, in 2011 when I came back from the Second World Championships. And I was going through quite a tough time because the opportunities in Cape Town are very few. I'm going to be honest with you. We don't live in America. This is not Los Angeles. When you win a World Champs, all the contracts come to you. It doesn't work like that. When I came home from the World Championships, things were almost as quiet as they were before I left, before I went over. I was interviewed on E-News. They put my case study story in the life orientation textbook for grade 11s. It's still in the textbook around the country. So some really, really big things were happening for me. I accomplished some really cool milestones. But in terms of income, I didn't have anything to show for myself and to show my parents. Getting older as a young man, you don't want to live in your parents' home for too long. You want to get out there, you want to conquer the world, you want to have your own grounds to stand on, create your own home. And that really, really started playing on my mind. It affected me really badly. And I kind of took it out onto myself and thought, maybe dancing isn't going to be a successful career for me. I need to find a new way. And through this dark journey that I was on, I'd been going out quite a bit. I'd been mixing with the wrong crowd. Because I had a very competitive nature, I would always like to prove myself in certain circles. And that didn't really work in my favor in these circumstances or these situations. And then I met Jared Smith at the time. Crazy how we met. A friend of mine, Julian Bosman, he was managing the Street Stylist dance crew that I owned. And Julian and Jared were friends. And they bumped into each other on the main road. They pulled over and they were chatting. And then Julian said to Jared, why didn't you come and watch the guys perform? We're doing a fashion show in a week. And Jared said, why would I come and watch that? How does it have to do with anything that I have going on? on. And then Julian said, don't think about it too much, just come and check it out. And when Jared saw the impact that we have on the kids, how excited they get, how they come for autographs, they want to take pictures afterwards, he put 2 and 2 together in the line of work that he was busy with. And he started up Second Chance Foundation. Basically, the core focus of our foundation, our organization, is to inspire people in general, not just the youth. Even though we work majority with the youth, we inspire people in general, no matter what age or stage you are in your life, to become the best version of yourself. Not only just follow your dream job, but to focus on you for you and to better yourself. How do you identify with the problems that you are struggling with, and how do you better yourself in those areas of your life? And that's what Second Chance is all about. When I met Jared, he said to me one day, come and watch what I do at the schools. And I went to go watch his talk. And the number of times I could relate to the things that he was saying and the struggles that he had been through with regards to gangsterism, substance abuse, and the list goes on. Because it's social issues that a lot of us face when we're growing up. I thought to myself, wow, I've never had somebody like this in my life that can relate to so many of the things that I've been through, but also guide me in a way where I'm able to receive what he's saying and be inspired by it. Most often when we hear from our teachers or our parents, immediately when they start speaking, we just close our ears. We don't take that information in because of the position that they have in our lives and the connotation that we have thereof. So for me, speaking to someone like that, it became my friend. I thought, wow, this guy's a really cool role model to have. And it's nice to be around him because we're both on a journey where we want to become successful, but we have some struggles in our past. So he gave me the platform. He said, look, Second Chance is an open platform. You have a story to share. I'd like for you to start sharing your story at schools. And that's where it all started for me with Second Chance. I just started out sharing my story. I did a couple of talks first. I enjoyed it very much. And then I wrote a dance program called The World Is Your Stage. And that's when things really took off. We started traveling the country. I was teaching dance at many different schools. We taught about 150,000 students in 1 year. We were traveling all around the country. And I found that dance is a really positive medium to use to connect with kids because they can relate to it very much. And when I teach them a dance, in a sense, I kind of win their respect. And once I win their respect, very similar to my story with Jared, I'm then able to coach them with life skills and talk about life experiences and help them and guide them because now they feel that they can relate to me, they can trust me, and they want to hear from me. So that's where the journey started with Second Chance, and things have really, really blown up. I'm so grateful to be working with them. We're now international. As of a year ago, we went to Australia for the first time, and we've got 6 countries lined up, so things are looking really good.
Beautiful, beautiful. Great initiative. And I love the fact that you were able to translate your passion, something that you were doing for the accolades, into a purpose, something to serve others on a greater level. So well done on that. Well done. And then,
Thanks,
Blake, tell me, based on that, how do you stay humble? How do you step out of that ego zone? Because it's easy for someone, like you say, Blake the champ, as your name says, it's easy for people to see you as, you know, the champ all the time, and for you to just step in that persona. How do you disassociate from that persona?
I think it comes down to 2 things. The way that I was raised, my parents always taught me to treat everybody with respect, to have respect for people that's older than me, to treat everybody alike. And the way that you treat other people is a true reflection of who you are and how you want to be treated yourself. So I did my best to stick to that. And then the second most important thing for me is learning from our mistakes. Nobody can say that they go through life without having any failures or any mistakes. And I've really taken it upon myself to focus on the mistakes that I've made, to focus on failed relationships with family, opportunities, bad friends. I've really taken the opportunity and taken a step back and said to myself, is this working for me? Where is this going to take me in the next couple of years? And if it's not, then it's best that I cut ties now. And it's been extremely hard. It's much easier for me to say it to you than what I actually had to go through and do. But at the end of the day, you have to decide what's best for you. And that's what keeps me humble, you know, knowing that my gift that I have is not because I was born one day and I work every single day to become the best. That gift that I have can be taken away from me in a matter of seconds. The man above has blessed me with the gift that I have, and I have to use this gift to inspire other people to spark their gift in their lives so that they can be passionate and they can find their purpose. And that's what it is. It's the cycle of life, you know, the energy that you give out, you will get back in return. And that humbles me every day to know that I can be on top of the world today, and tomorrow morning I can wake up the baby again and I'm the learner and I have to do something new. And that's the beauty of it all. I enjoy the balance of both, and I know when I need to step into both roles.
I like that. I like the fact that you said that you need to know when you are the master and when you have to become the student. And both is really important for our journey, because life is a journey. There's many levels, many steps to it. And It doesn't mean because you achieve one level or achieve success at one level that your life is now over, that you stop learning, you're only the master. So I love that. Also, what you mentioned is key reflection, because that's gold. That's gold. Reflecting on your life, reflecting on your mistakes, reflecting on the things that's going wrong in your life, because through reflection, you're able to then bring it to your own awareness and see, like, is this the result that I want? Am I living a life true to my vision, true to my purpose, true to my calling, or am I just going through the motions of life? Am I going to continue making the same mistakes? And that will then allow you to make the change that you really want to see in your life. But we can only make change, through growth or intentional growth, by being aware. And awareness comes from reflecting. So I'd just love to say thank you, Blake, for taking the time out of your day to chat to us and share your journey with us.
100%. Thanks for having me, Carl. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Keep well. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. This is a weekly podcast, so tune in every Monday to get your dose of inspiration that will help guide you in designing your version of an extraordinary life. This is Kyle Daniels, wishing you an amazing day. Stay winning.